Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Today I have a different hair color. Today it is red. Tomorrow, stay tuned. No, I'm just kidding. I did just get my hair dyed this really beautiful deep auburn. I'm absolutely loving the way that it looks. I can't stop playing with it and I wanted to do a fun springy look with this. It definitely came out a little Annie, a little curly Sue, but I really like it. It's very ketchup and mustard and it's a fun glossy eye with a red lip, so what is there not to enjoy? If you would like to see how I created this look, then stay tuned. So I'm going to be starting off with some really just fresh luminous skin, but I want to begin with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Face Primer, and this is just going to ensure that my makeup stays really beautiful through the day. And I'm just going to take about a little blob of it and work it into the skin. I like to focus it over the T-zone and the inside part of my cheeks here, just because I know that that's where I have the most pores and texture. And I do like patting it into the skin versus rubbing it, because I worry that when I rub, it kind of buffs it away. Next up, I'm going to be using my JOUER Luminizing Moisture Tint Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 20. This is oil-free and fragrance-free. And for this, I'm going to be using a flat top Rouge and Rogue Dragon brush and squeezing kind of like a little circle around the top of it. That seems to be enough product for me on the daily. And in case I didn't mention, I wear the JOUER tint in the color Pearl. It is a shade too dark for me, but because it's so thin and blends so well on the skin, I find that you can't really tell that it's a little dark. And my neck is darker than my face because I guess I use more harsh exfoliants on my face, so it ends up all looking pretty good by the time everything's blended out. It really does blend in super quick and it looks super luminous and beautiful, so I'm just going to hop right into concealer, and I'm using my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer in Light Ivory as usual, just underneath my eyes. I'm actually gonna go pretty heavy with the concealer today, which I don't normally do, but I'm going heavier with some eye makeup today, and I want to make sure that there isn't really too much darkness under my eyes. On the corners of my mouth, on my chin, and I'm just going to blend this out with a little beauty blender. Today's look is really not focused on the skin, it's more about the eyes and the lips. I just figured I would tell you guys what I'm using, but I'm gonna run through this pretty quick. I'm also gonna take a little bit of what's left on the beauty blender over the eyelids just to cancel out some of the discoloration that I have naturally. Now I'm just gonna do my regular contouring with my Anastasia stick foundation in the color Fawn on my Real Techniques contour brush, and just kind of breeze through this as well. I've gone in depth on these products. Not the JOUER tint, this is the first time I'm using it in a video, but pretty much most of my other videos showcase me cream contouring these days. So, and if you would like a more in-depth version of what I'm doing right now, just leave a comment down below and I will make that video for you guys. But I'm doing my very basic contouring today just to bring back the planes of my face and give me some more structure. What I really like about this skin tint as I'm looking at it right now is that you can still see my freckles, you can still see some of my natural texture. It just ends up looking a lot more natural because of that. So I really do enjoy it. Now I'm just gonna pull you guys in so we can work on the eyes and the eyebrows. So because I have just dyed my hair freshly, I am looking to change up my brow color. I'm not dyeing the actual eyebrow hairs themselves yet. I might not, I haven't decided. But for now, I dip into my Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette. This is an all matte warm neutral palette and I really absolutely love it. Obviously you can see it's well loved and battered. I'm going to pick up this reddish brown shade right here, and for the brows I'm going to be using my Anastasia number 15 brush or number 12 brush. I'm not entirely sure. The writing has rubbed off. I'm very sorry. But basically my goal with the brows is to color them and give them some warmth but also extend them slightly. And obviously if you change your own hair color and you don't want to match your brows, you don't have to. This is just something that I really like to do ever since I got my hair dyed. And then flip it over and just use the spoolie to brush the product through and make sure it's not sitting in any one spot. You can see that there's a nice difference. There's a lot more of a tone match in this one, and obviously the shape has been improved, but I just really enjoy doing this step. And then of course, to set the brows in place, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. This is my favorite brow gel ever. I have tried a couple from the drugstore recently, but there's something about this one that really just holds my brows in place without making them look super shiny or crunchy, or I don't know, the product doesn't like glob up. It's just perfect. So now we can move on to my eyes. Since I put a little bit of concealer on my eyes, they are starting to crease. That is just the fun of living with hooded eyes. But I'm gonna take a little bit of my Milani Prep Set and Go, and this is just a translucent powder. I'm gonna pick this up on a big fluffy Morphe brush and just dust this over the eyelids and the under eyes and make sure that they're nice and matte, and this is gonna create our base. The reason I'm not using an eyeshadow primer today is quite simple. I'm doing a glossy eye, so the idea of longevity in my eyeshadow doesn't totally make sense, because the point of having a glossy eye is to have it be imperfect. So for this glossy eye, I'm going to be starting off with the SUGARPILL eyeshadow, and this is in the color Butter Cupcake. And I'm picking that up on a loose, fluffy Morphe brush and kind of barely getting product on it. I just want to start running this through the crease of the eye. This is, I want to say, our transition shade, but we're also going to build it up. This is a pretty minimal eye look, but the point being is that it's more impactful for the gloss and the shine than it is like a really intricate look to pull off. So I'm just gonna be blending this up and out towards the brow. You might be like, that's a lot of yellow. I'm gonna pull it through. It's gonna look cool when we're done. I understand that bright eyeshadows can scare people, but there are definitely ways to wear them in a way that's more subtle, or also like, why be subtle? I'm also going to take an MOTD pencil brush. This is the Pencil Me In, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of Butter Cupcake and run this underneath the lower lash line. And because it's more of a stiff brush, we're gonna get more of an intense color payoff. That is just the name of the game. But I do want my lower lash line to be nice and heavy. And then swirl a little bit more product onto that Morphe brush and put this all over the eyelid this time. But not going outside of where we did that original blend, because I want to keep those lines nice and blended and smooth. Picking up a tiny bit more, I'm going to run under the eye and make that nice and smoky too. On a MAC 217, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the ColourPop eyeshadow, and this is in the color Koi. This is one of their single pressed pigments, I believe. And this is more of an orangey yellow, and I'm gonna start buffing this through the outer corner and up into the outer crease of the eye. And this is where we start pulling in some depth. It's gonna turn the yellow from being like a really bright neon-y yellow to more of like a mac and cheese artificial yellow, if you know what I'm saying. It's just gonna make it a little bit more flattering, at least to my complexion. Obviously, if you're not pale as paper, this might already look cool on you, but for me personally, I need some depth to this, or else I just look absolutely insane. I'm also gonna take that on the lower lash line, quite tight to the eye, but still, obviously, I'm using a bigger, fluffier brush, so it doesn't have to be too perfect. With a little bit more of Butter Cupcake, I'm gonna pick that up on the MAC 217 flat and really pack it onto the brush, tap out the extra, and push this onto the center of the lid. So make sure that you're really pressing it into the bristles of the brush and then tapping out so you don't get a ton of fallout the second that you put this on the lid. And then once you've applied most of it, you can start blending the edges, but still being quite careful not to have it all drop down onto the cheeks. Now for the glossy part of the eye makeup look, I'm going to be using the NYX Lid Lacquer, and this is in the clear color. And I'm going to be putting a little bit of this onto the back of my hand. You don't need too much, just a little glob will do. And you can use your finger for this, but I like to be a little bit more precise, so I'm going to be using an MOTD No Fudge Just Smudge brush. Picking up a decent amount of this and patting it over the lid. Make sure to pat. You don't want to rub because you don't want to move around all of that product. You just want to sort of seal it in a glossy coat. It looks so good. Now I'm just going to curl my lashes and add a coat of the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara, which is my favorite. Now to finish up the cheeks, I'm just going to take a little bit of the OFRA highlighter, and this is in the color Glazed Donut, and taking a Morphe M310 brush, I'm just going to dust this over the tops of the cheekbones. A little on the nose, I'm just doing a little on the bridge, and a little on the tip of the nose, and a little on the chin. Because I'm obsessed with faux freckles, and this look didn't feel like a regular freckle kind of look to me, I'm taking the SUGARPILL liquid lipstick in the color Glint, which is a really beautiful orangey metallic gold, and I'm going to be dotting on some faux freckles. I really love that these applicators have a pointed tip because it means that you can get really big freckles from it. And then you can go in with a liner brush, which you'll see me do in a second, to get more smaller freckles. Lastly, for the lips, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Beauty Everlasting Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the color Nosferatu. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Come join this crazy little space on the internet. And don't forget to check out my social media links down below, as always. And yeah, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. If you are going to IMATS New York this Sunday, April 15th, do be sure to say hello if you see me, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.